let's get started seated today. If you want to have some props around you, just think about it as like that added support. So there's no room between your body and the floor. You can have pillows, towels. If you have yoga blocks or yoga bolsters and blankets, feel free to use those. Or you can use anything that you have lying around, just maybe not pets because they'll totally move on you. Um, but we'll get started seated today. So you can sit up on a blanket or a bolster, or you can just sit right on the floor. Any comfortable position with the legs. So maybe they're crossed, maybe they're out in front of you. And then just feel free to move around a little bit when you first get here. And just check in and tune in with your body. If it feels okay, you can start to close your eyes or just soften your gaze. And soften the shoulders away from your ears. Relax the jaw. Relax the skull. And bring your hands to rest wherever is comfortable. Let's just find 3 rounds of breath here. Inhales and exhales. Oftentimes, just by bringing awareness to the breath, it tends to lengthen a little bit. It's okay if it does. It's okay if it doesn't. Just bring your focus to the breath. And let's take one more here. And just allow your chin to drop towards your chest. So at first you can feel like the shoulders are coming with you. But then I want you to start to roll the shoulders back, creating a little bit of resistance. And it might change how close the chin is towards the chest. Just allow the head to get heavy and feel like you're trying to create just a little bit of breathing room between the vertebrae on the back of the neck. And then roll your right ear to your right shoulder. You're not trying to like press it really close to the shoulder, you're just letting it hang. So it might be really close, it might be really far away. And maybe you add a little bit more by just reaching the left fingertips towards the floor, just to lengthen the left side of the neck, the shoulder, the arm. Again, you don't have to feel like you're reaching or pulling, just allowing gravity to stretch and release all the little tiny muscles of the neck. We won't stay too long. One more. And bring the left hand back towards your lap. Allow the chin to roll to the center of the chest and then bring it all the way to the left side. Your sides might feel a little different. It might even feel a little constricted on the left side when you first arrived, just because we've stretched it and now we're tightening it up. You have the option to walk your right hand down by your right hip. Just kind of reach the fingertips. Just a couple of breaths here. Last breath. And bring the hand back. Lift the head back up. Take a deep breath here. And start to stretch your legs forward. Just shake them out, especially if they were crossed. If they were straight, you might cross them. Just to let them change shape for a moment. And start to bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to be wide. So this is a great spot to add a little extra props underneath the knees or the thighs. And think like you're trying to create more of a diamond shape. So the feet are going to be a little bit further away from you. And just start to round the spine as you sit here. So feel like you're trying to create more room in the back body and the ribs, in the back of the ribs. And you might stay with just that rounding. You're welcome to allow your chin to come to the center of the chest, or you can just keep your head and neck in a neutral position. Sometimes if you're not sure where to go, you maybe play with both and then figure out where you feel most comfortable holding today. It's not going to look the same every day. You can always start to lean a little forward. Really focus on that rounding of the back. So if at any point you start to lean forward and you feel like you lose it, come up and out just a little bit. Just a little rewind. If at any point throughout our practice today, you feel yourself getting distracted, whether that's by something going on externally of you in your home, outside, or thinking about your to-do list for later, I encourage you to come back to your breath. And allow your intention to just be on the inhales and exhales. It's okay if you feel yourself doing that frequently. It's okay if you feel yourself doing that not at all. Every day will be a little different. Just a little while longer here. Last full breath here. And slowly start to bring yourself all the way up. Extend your legs long. And take a deep breath. And just check in, notice. Releasing the backs of the knees for a moment. You're welcome to roll out the feet. At any point there's a movement that your body seems to be wanting, go ahead and take it. You're always welcome to ignore me. I encourage you to just listen to your body. And with your legs straight, just go ahead and bring your hands behind you and just lean back on your hands a little bit. Like you're lounging on the grass or at the beach. And then start to bend your knees again, but this time the soles of the feet come towards the floor. So it's okay if you need to lean back a little bit more. And then just start to rock the knees from side to side, but you actually want to bring the whole leg with you. So it's almost like you're rocking on the heels. And you're going to start to let both the knees fall over to the left side. And as you do that, you're going to push off your hands a little bit so that both knees come to the floor. So that that left leg is in this external rotation, just like that diamond we just took. And your right leg is in this internal rotation. Now take a moment to just check in with your right knee. If it feels uncomfortable here, you can always flex the foot and just keep it a little active to keep a little engagement around the muscles of the knee. If that doesn't feel good and it doesn't help, bring the knee back up and just extend the leg long and wide. So that is our modification for our right leg. I wouldn't recommend putting a prop underneath the knee unless the knee is actually floating up off of the floor. It will actually kind of make it a little bit deeper. So I definitely recommend that alternate as straightening the leg. Once you've got that right leg settled, start to fold over the left leg. And it does not matter how big that fold is. It can be a centimeter, it can be a foot. And you can always bring a pillow or a blanket or a block underneath the arms, or you can always lean on the leg. And it's okay if your right hip and your right booty start to lift up off of the floor. It's actually encouraged. And oftentimes, as you just find a new pose, you may notice that you pull yourself out a little bit of your focus and your intention. And that's okay. Just take the first few moments of the new shape to settle back in. And as we continue to pause here, feel free to adjust. Maybe go a little deeper, maybe come out a little bit. You don't have to stay wherever you started or wherever you landed. It's always checking in with your body and seeing how it's feeling. And adjust if needed. Last breath here. Think like you're moving in slow motion as you slowly start to lift yourself up. Flex the feet as you just start to rotate your whole body. Take your legs with you. We're going to just keep going and go right to the other side. So if you had that right leg straight, usually bending it to rotate is the most helpful. And again, check in when you got here. What's happening with that left leg? How's your knee on the left side? Any pain? Feel free to straighten the leg. And it might be different from side to side. So it's okay if it looks a little different too. And then start to fold over the right leg. Again, this is probably also going to look a little different than the left. Okay if that left hip lifts up a bit. Feel free to adjust as we continue to hold. A little while longer here. One more breath. And again, as if you're moving in slow motion, slowly start to bring your hands on the ground, press yourself up, maybe put a little flex into the feet as you come all the way up. Extend the legs long, let the backs of the knees release a little bit. It doesn't matter how wide your legs are. You can roll out the ankles, wiggle the toes. And wherever your legs decided to land, regardless of how wide they are, if they're really wide, if they're narrow, just stay right there and lean a little forward. And again, this time focus on that rounding of the spine. And maybe you're leaning a lot forward, but it's more important that you're just feeling your back body breathe a little bit. Sometimes with that previous one, even though we're trying to relax into it, we can hold a little bit more tension in the back than we'd like. So let's just take a moment to release that. A couple more breaths. Start to bring yourself up. And make your way towards a tabletop position to your hands and your knees, just so you can sink your hips towards your heels for a child pose. We're not going to stay too long. You can always slide something underneath your torso or your forehead, or even place something behind the knees. Just take 3 breaths here. And after your 3rd breath, just pull yourself all the way to lay on your belly. So it can just be a glide forward. And make a pillow with your hands. You can always rock your hips a little bit when you get there. Taking a breath to just adjust to the new shape. And start to prop up onto your forearms. Coming into a Sphinx pose. So it might feel like a lot because it's definitely the opposite of what we've been doing so far today. If it feels like too much, you can always slide the elbows a little bit more forward. And then just let the head be heavy. But feel the shoulder heads gently press back. And begin to lower all the way down. Pause. And start to bend your right leg, bringing the foot up towards the sky. And feel as if you're trying to press the knee away from your body, so down towards your left toes. You might even gently rock the foot a little bit from side to side. At some point, you're going to find a spot where the foot just feels good to pause. So for me, mine's leaning a little bit towards the right side. So that way I feel like I'm not working as hard to keep my foot up in the air. You can keep your upper body low. This one is really subtle in comparison to some of the other shapes we've met today. Few more breaths here. Slowly start to bring the foot back to center. It's okay if it fell a little bit more to one side, and extend the leg long and pause. Start to bend the left leg. Foot up towards the sky. Again, feel like you're trying to press the knee towards the toe, so you're just lengthening the front of the left leg. And again, you might kind of let it rock a little bit side to side until it finds a sweet spot to pause. And then pause with as little effort as you can find here. Last breath here. Bring the foot all the way back up and lengthen the leg out long. Feel free to rock the hips a little bit. Start to press yourself up to a tabletop position. That's going to be the hardest move you make all day. And take a couple of cat-cows here, especially after being seated and then on the belly. Just rounding the spine. And make your way onto your back from there. So just coming all the way to lay down. Doesn't matter how you get there. And then take a few moments when you arrive. And move a little bit. Just allow your body to settle in. And right away, let's extend your left leg. You can always place a bolster, a blanket, a towel underneath the left leg for a little added support. But we're also gonna let the right knee fall out to the side. So keep the foot towards the inside of the foot and let the knee come out to the side. So you can also add a prop underneath the right knee. So think of this as like your tree pose, but your reclined tree pose. Got a little half butterfly. And the way to know if you need a prop, if you're not sure, is if you feel like your body is working really hard to hold you in this shape. So like if your leg is just engaged to keep it bent, that might be a great note for your body telling you to just add something there. So that way you can release the muscle a little bit. Even if it's just like 1% more. Your arms can be wherever's comfortable here. A couple more breaths here. Slowly start to place the right foot back on the floor. Place the left foot on the floor. Lengthen the right leg along. Feel the front of your right hip release, the back of the knee release. And when you're ready, you'll allow that left knee to come out to the side. So again, checking in with where your body might need a little extra support today. It can look different from side to side. Last couple of breaths here. Nice and slow, start to place your left foot back on the floor. Your right foot back on the floor. Take any movement here. And hug your knees towards your chest. Give your lower back a little gentle massage. And then just let the knees come to the right. Creating a little bit of a spinal twist here. It doesn't matter where the legs land. Bring the knees back to the middle and over to the other side. And go right on over to the other side. You can pause in the middle. You'll each choice. Bring the knees back to the middle. Give yourself a little hug. And start to lengthen the legs out in front of you. Now, as always, you can slide extra props underneath your legs. You can throw your legs up onto a couch or up a wall. You can always take that fetal position, rolling onto your side. Finding a place where you feel like your body doesn't have to work hard and where you can just spend these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. Slowly starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Starting to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. Stretching your arms up overhead. And slowly beginning to make your way into a seated position. There's no rush to get there. Whatever you need on the way. And when you arrive, bring your hands to your heart center, gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.